I'm always letting Elaine put me on the spot. That's because at some point she was a student of mine. Okay, at Tuskegee Institute it was then. I think the significant thing as we look at it is that we are looking at, for most of these states now, a proportional distribution of the delegates. So the important thing is not necessarily whether you carry the state in its entirety. It is whether you carry certain districts within the state so that you get your share of the delegates. The important thing coming into the next group of states is where do you stand as a candidate in the distribution of the delegates. The delegate count is the important count. But then I perceive that at the evenness of this conflict, that we may have a brokered convention where the superdelegates will have to make the determination as to which of these two persons will be supported as the nominee for the president on the Democratic ticket. And I perceive, though, that the candidate who appears to the superdelegates to have the greatest possibility for winning, the Democrats want this presidency, and they want also to have a supermajority in the Senate so that it becomes a veto-proof Senate in the eventuality that a Republican should win the presidency. So we look at the possibility that Obama is going to be a player. Obama is going to be a player in the convention. Whether he goes into the convention with a majority of the delegates or not, they're not going to be able to nominate a winning candidate without the support of Obama. Okay. Yeah, they're going to have Obama's support. Okay. So he's going to be a part of any brokering that goes on for delegates at the Democratic Convention. Okay. You perhaps already noted that the Clinton people are going after the delegates pledged to other candidates, other party candidates. They're also going after making the Florida delegation count and the Michigan delegation count. In other words, they want to change the rules after the game has already been played. And that is going to, whether the rules are changed, will depend upon the National Democratic Party leadership and not upon the pressure from the Clintons. The Clintons always interest me, as some other politicians, is that when they are lagging, they play this game of creating or generating fear. And that has been a time-honored principle in politics, is that if you are about to be overtaken, you view with alarm. You try to create a fear about a candidate. You notice talk radio, the talking heads, how they have tried to make Obama other than what Obama is. Obama is a good example of what we black folk ought to do. We ought to not let anybody define us as a people. That we define ourselves. And Obama, when Bill went offline, Obama challenged him. And I remember hearing somebody say, they're going to get Obama off message. I said, no, Obama is a shrewd young politician. He is going to respond, but he's going back to message. And I think we saw him go back to message after he responded. But he had to respond. He had to. He could not let those negatives be out there against him as mouthed by Bill Clinton. Now, one other thing I want to quickly say is if you notice the Alabama Democratic Conference, Joe Reed and Holmes and those fellows, is that they try to read the tea leaves, the political tea leaves, to find out which direction the voters may take. And you'll notice that if they take a direction that the voters are not moving in, that they don't get the candidates into office that they support. See, because I learned a long time ago that if you are leading black people, that you find out which direction they are heading, and you run and get in front of them and declare, I'm your leader. And if they turn and go in a different direction, you're not that leader. They're searching for a leader.
Okay, now tell me this.
Yeah.
Obama said there's something happening in America.
Yeah.
Deal with that. What do you
Yeah,
get out of that?
something is happening in America. Now, we're still a long ways of creating an integrated society. But what we have done is that we have created a society where there is relative disadvantage, so that there is less disadvantage that black people have to encounter now than at any previous time in our history. And one of the things that is happening is that the desegregation movement that brought young blacks together in these schools meant that they formed permanent friendships.
That's right.
So that all of this fear tactic of the Negro or the black this or the black that, they have seen in growing in studying with blacks firsthand that blacks are not monsters and that blacks are not idiots. So that close association has made it possible for young white college students to go out in droves and support Obama.